You name it, we've lived it.
And are living it.
Brits moving from the UK all the way to Australia with not a pot to piss in.
A whirlwind romance sparkled on Tinder.
3 months in, pregnant, starting 2 now successful businesses through COVID.
To another 2 new businesses post-COVID, whilst juggling 2 young, spirited children.
Living worldwide, travelling, and pure hustle. We are nothing short of batshit crazy, but motivated as fuck. We are here to tell you our story,
inspire,
teach,
and probably scare the crap out of you.
Uncut, raw, and real. Welcome to Business, Babies and Banter
with Henry
and Jade.
Welcome to another episode of Business, Babies and Banter. I'm Henry.
And I'm Jade. And I didn't know this was an episode.
Well, this is a very special episode.
Special Christmas edition.
So this is the first episode in the studio space. And it's also a little bit different because there's an audience in the room and there's someone asking questions today. Would you like to introduce yourself, Cody? You can hear you, but they can't see you.
Hello, my name's Cody. I am the National Operations Manager for Privé Hair and Makeup, and I'm here to interrogate these two. All right, so how this is going to go is I have a set of about 20 questions, and I'm just going to rapid fire, and the first thing that comes to your mind, speak it as you normally do. All right. So, about businesses. The hair and makeup industry is highly competitive. How do you differentiate your company from others offering similar services?
Because it's not about it's not about the service and what's being given to the client. It's how they're made to feel. So it's not just the hair and makeup that's being done. It's every element of their inquiry, how they're responded to, how they're communicated with, organization and
Silent.
So live audience, it's authentic. No, it's down to all the other elements that add to it, not just about what they're getting when they're in their hair and makeup chat.
Are we talking about all the businesses? Every business?
Do you want to break it down by the...
I'm not fucking crazy. But just in a nutshell, we can keep all this, by the way. We're allowed to swear in Miami. That's the whole...
Oh, it's your podcast.
My podcast. No, I think, exactly what Henry said, but every business, which is the interesting thing, and even more so the point of difference, is that it is about the experience. So the journey the client goes through, the way that they're spoken to, the element of customer service, all the way through to the actual results, of course, which are great. But everyone delivers great results. You know, you go somewhere, you pay good money, you get good results. But the way that you're treated in the lead up to the appointment, in creating the appointment itself, to when you walk in the door, or, you know, in the hair and makeup case, when the artist walks in the door, everyone looks professional, everyone's passionate, everyone's happy. And I think that's something that we really pride ourselves on.
Awesome. All right. So on that, what are the biggest challenges of scaling a national service company? And have you ever faced criticism for your business model?
Yeah, and fucking everything. What are the challenges of scaling? There is a challenge to scaling any business. And the biggest challenge, I think, especially when you start it from nothing, is measuring how much capital and investment you can reinvest to grow, to employ more staff, whilst not toppling over and crumbling. Because that's the reality, right? If you overdo, or, you know, get a little bit flimsy with the numbers, which is not a you or Cody thing, I might add it to me thing. Suddenly you've just grown too fast and you can't actually manage things. Or in the same turn, you overinvest into marketing, but you don't have the human resource to cope. So there's such a fine balance.
It's not just that. It's obviously financial when scaling is big, but also you can dilute the quality of your product or dilute the quality of your service when you get too big. It's like when you have a salon team of 20 people, you're like, you can't be at top of everything as effectively. So making sure that the quality is always there, no matter how many staff or contractors you have, is fundamental to scale.
And it's also, the where you position yourself in the business. So I think, especially from a salon perspective, it was very evident that I couldn't, to be able to scale and grow, I had to not be on the tools. You can't be doing the services. You can't be the hairstylist, the makeup artist, and the leader, and the innovator, and the person that's there to effectively manage people. It's actually impossible.
The comment all that.
And criticism, was the other.
So going back to what Henry said, so many salon owners and I guess small business owners, especially in the service industry, only focus on local markets because it's service, it's travel, it's movement, it's staffing, it's all of those things. So do you feel that having a national company that delivers service, do you feel as though your quality has diluted in your service delivery as you've grown?
It hasn't diluted, but there have been moments where we've had to realize that's not quite right, and then refine processes, refine systems, remove stylists or artists who are delivering the service who don't meet the standards that we expect. And that's ultimately what you have to do, because if you learn from the things that go wrong, you improve. The things are always going to go wrong.
There's been learnings, not dilution. I would say things get diluted when on a mass consistent scale, standards are dropped. But if you are, if a one-off experience happens that maybe has diluted exactly your vision and high standards and expectations, you immediately need to get on top of it, analyze what happened, what can we learn from this, and what can we do to avoid that in future. And as soon as you do that, you're then immediately not diluting anything. Sorry, Henry,
I know.
Henry's just.
And then he does.
There's a package. There's a package downstairs. Thank you. Sorry, this is important.
So you are. So Privé Hair and Makeup is in two different camps. So it's a large-scale service provider, but it's integrated with smaller independent artists. Have you ever? How do you address claims that large-scale providers might overshadow smaller independent artists? Do you want me to say that again?
Yeah, no, now I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think you overshadow at all. We're actually supporting and empowering them to thrive in their business. We pay them really well. We look after them. And if you are an independent hair or makeup artist, you might not necessarily be an A1 business owner. You might not know how to market. You might not have the capacity to deal with clients. You might not be fucked to deal with it. It's a fucking nightmare. So having someone that says to you, hey, at any stage of your career as well, we want to look after you. This is what we're offering. Non-obligatory work, fantastic pay, and the opportunity to grow your business, and all you have to do is what you love. Wouldn't you fucking say, yes, thank you, yes, please?
I think the biggest thing that we've seen over the last 7 years is to become a full-time hair makeup artist. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a transition. And a lot of the time we've been that stepping stone or that vehicle to help people transition from being part-time, doing it on weekends, to being a full-time artist. And they can't do that without getting work from people like Privé, from other agencies, from other companies, because it really helps them make that income full-time and give up their part-time jobs, etc. So we've had the artists, and you've seen already, Cody, they've come with us, they've been with us for a long time, and their business has grown, and then they don't need Privé anymore, and they grow out of Privé and they move on. And that is the circle of life in the hair and makeup artist industry.
And it's the integrity in how you run your business, right? So we're not going to name anyone because we're not here to buy anyone, but there are so many agencies. It's easy to start something up and be like, hey, I'm going to charge more and I'm going to pay you slightly less and I'm going to make loads of money. And that is the wrong attitude. We run on empowering the client, empowering the staff to feel and be the best that they can be in every way. So there's no undercutting. There's no, lack of integrity. And that's what really makes us stand out, because there's so many others that don't do that.
So going back to pricing, there's a growing debate about pricing in the personal service, beauty, hairdressing industry as a whole. How do you justify the pricing structure to clients who claim that it's too high? And how do you justify the pay to the artists who think it's too low?
You're not everyone's cup of tea. Simple as that. If you don't like it, fuck off. No, I'm joking. No, but
are you?
But we're not trying to be, we can't be price competitive because we've got the best artists. We provide an exceptional service. We have human resource to be able to provide a journey of incredible customer service from the minute they answer the phone. And to be able to do that, you have to charge more. Otherwise, you can't pay these people. And so I think we're very, very competitively priced, considering all the elements and extra fluff that we provide. And if the artists think it's too low, then also they don't have, that we're not forcing anyone to work with us. I think we have very fine margins, if I'm honest. It's not like we're, ripping anyone off. We always do the very best we can do.
I think those comments or those sorts of remarks usually come from people who don't understand exactly what it takes to operate, to win a client, to market to a client. There's costs along the way in all those steps, Charles. And therefore to be able to allocate and to provide work to 80 plus artists, it's a big operation. It's now an operation where, the break-even points are more than what we used to make in a year.
100%.
So and that is just to operate, to keep the doors open, to ensure that we keep the flow of work for the team. And there are months where we make losses because it's quiet and the team still get their pay, they still do their jobs, and we still provide the work.
100%. And it's always, I always think people that have comments like that are always people that are doing less than you, that are not aspiring to grow and be innovative and move forward. Because the people that are maybe not doing as much are inspired and motivated and grateful. And the people that are whinging and like not really moving anywhere are like, oh, let's a bit this, a bit that. Well, then don't be part of it. It's fine. We're totally fine. We don't need that energy.
So running a business with your significant other is notoriously challenging. How do you handle disagreements without it affecting your relationship and bringing it through the front door when you get home with the kids?
Well, I think it always comes through the front door when it's the kids, but I think we probably argue less about work than we argue about other things. And I think we're very aligned with decision making and stuff. And there are times where I want to do one thing, she wants to do another thing, and we either meet in the middle or we go with one's opinion or the other's opinion, but it's always for what's best from a business decision. And then we always support each other, whether it's Jade's decision that we go with or my decision that we go with. But you can't not ever take it home with you, because any entrepreneur or business owner takes their work.
But it doesn't affect the kids. And also is knowing your strengths and to some degree staying in your lane. So that is why organically in the beginning, when I started everything, I taught Henry how to answer the phone, and I had it was all me, the way that I wanted things done. And then the salon happened, and then it became very apparent very quickly that Henry wasn't a exact robotic version of me, obviously, because he's another human. And so I had to be ready to relinquish some of the control and some of the exact ways that I would do things, even though that was really hard, because I was like, this is mine and it's, I'm happy to share it, but you have to do it how I do it. Because if I didn't relinquish that, we were literally going to butt heads and nothing would grow and nothing would progress. So indirectly, it wasn't even a conversation. It was like, okay, I'm very, very strong in the salon because I've worked in salons and that's my thing. So I moved and gravitated towards that being mainly what I have final decision over, operate and manage. Henry has a significant part in that. And in the same turn, he is the primary person that's driving the Forbay Air Makeup business. I have a significant part in it, but we had to separate those roles to some degree. Otherwise, it was just impossible. It's just too much back and forth, double checking, can I do this? Can't I do that? It just doesn't work, especially on a large scale.
So going back to that, I think the corporate world and the world as a whole are very hung up on titles. Jade, you're the CEO and founder. I think, Henry, you are the managing director. What do you say to people who assume one of you holds more power in the business than the other?
I've never, ever come across anyone that has any assumption. If anything, the only thing I will ever get, which I don't find embarrassing, I actually find it, I'm proud, because I'm not someone that hangs on a title. I'm not egotistical at all. I literally don't care to be the star. But I have clients in the salon that, I'll be talking to them and they know that I'm somebody in the management team, right? They know I'm not an assistant, but they'll say, so how long have you been working here? And I'm like, a little while now. It's been a little while. And then whose idea was it? These organic products. And do you know what is the person that created this? And I'm like, well, that's actually me. And they're like, oh God, because I'm just normal and humble and I'm not, walking around bossing people around. I don't think that's a vibe. But we've never been tasked that. How
You do boss me around.
I boss you around, just Chris, because I'm the fucking seat.
No, I think also, in all businesses, there's always going to be someone that's such a decision maker, but it's always a collective. It's always a team. There's some kids that you have final decision on sometimes. Whatever decision is the right decision is the right decision. It doesn't come out who makes it. But there's someone said something, one of the people I follow on Instagram, they said something really important, which is the person who makes the decision is the person who knows most about the decision that was being made. And when it comes to tech and shit like that, it's Cody. Yeah, I'd fucking Cody, what should we do? Right. But when it comes to other elements, whoever is best placed to make that final decision makes that final decision as well.
Basically, I have to deal with all the shit because no one wants to be fair but firm.
So, Matt, before you go further, in this business, we have a very strict culture and policy of problems get moved up the chain to resolve them as fast and as effectively as possible.
Yeah.
Henry, what's your benchmark for sending something up the chain to Jade when she is perceived as the CEO?
So for me, anything in hair and makeup probably wouldn't get past the Jade anymore. But
That's so small. If there's a client, you're like, can you just write this email? They're just like, oh, be fine.
no, the time that I would definitely pass the Jade is when it comes to salon client. It's very technical about something color related. I'm not a colorist.
We can't like need to write emails to challenging clients to resolve because you know that I can write softer but fairer emails than you because you're just like, fuck off. You are. I'm like, Henry, you can't write that. That's so passive aggressive. You're like, yeah, shut up. And I'm like, look. And even Cody says, he's like, that is so fair but firm. I've done it a few times. I know you are into doing it.
I don't know. I mean, just at the same time, if it was, difficult conversations, we've had difficult conversations recently. Yeah, and all of us are. When was the last time you wrote an email for me?
About 2 weeks ago. As in, no, there were 2 emails recently, actually. Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Yeah, he know. I'm just going to do a bit, you and the client.
It was yesterday, and it had something to do with the content studio and the big ass code letter.
Hey, no, I wrote it.
No, you didn't. I wrote it. You didn't. I didn't use I wrote the email, and you edited it.
You wrote it. Jade made suggestions. I edited it and then sent it back to you.
Perfect. You had to be concentrated on my email because I'm the head honcho.
That's it. And at best, a good example. That's a good example of moving things around to the people it is in the business that it concerns.
He's like, but this consent, bye. Next.
All right. So moving on to this beautiful content studio that we are sitting in. Opening content studio is a bold move. How do you respond to critics who say that this could distract from Privé's core business?
No one ever says that because if they do, it's a tantalizing question to promote like good answer. Stop belittling his question.
I'm not belittling them. I'm just like, fuck the haters.
There are no haters. It's a good question.
The haters are hypothetical. They're hypothetical haters, all right?
And look, everyone, there's always distractions no matter what you do, right? You could be distracted by your fucking phone and watch Instagram for too long. However, this was also, it made sense. It was a strategical move in the sense that we had to have an office space. There was no getting around that to the point of where we were. And either we had an office space, which was just an office space, it was a shit little office, or we had a space which people wanted to be in. It had a great working environment. People could thrive. People would want to come to work. And when we found spaces, we were like, well, we actually also need to start using a space other than the salon for content days, for models, for education, for all these other elements. So it makes sense to intertwine the two.
We're also just offsetting the cost of the office.
Well, it is, but also we're also at a point now where we need a place to do trials. We need a place for our artists to work. We need a place. Sometimes we work with a lot of photographers. So we've got connections where this isn't like a new business, which is completely random and we're not sure if it's going to work or not. It's we'll probably hit the ground running straight away kind of business. So it makes sense in my eyes. Do you want to add anything to that? Or
No, I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you.
But as this is going to be a little bit different. Henry, with your left hand, you will point. Jade, with your right hand, you will point. I don't want either of your hands to touch in the middle. Everyone close their eyes.
Where's my point?
So you point to yourself or to your partner, right?
Okay.
Who's the calmer of the two of you? Who's the hot ham?
Bye.
I don't know.
Who's the realistic one? Who's the unrealistic one? Who's more aggressive?
Depends on what context.
In business, who's more aggressive? I'm just thinking of some other questions. You can drop your hand, Jade. That's all right. You don't have to keep going. Lauren, Charlotte, Savannah, any questions for these two while their eyes are closed?
Who's the most fun?
We're going to cut this both ways.
Go and ask anything you want.
Yeah, ask anything. Is there any questions? Any questions at all? But I suppose they have to point to the other one. Who's this bender?
I love it, Jakes. Who takes longer to get ready in the morning?
Open your eyes.
He's like, I've got to save my bit. I'm like, you haven't even got a bit. He's like, the butt in it. I'm like, okay, and then leaves all the hair in the sink. And then he's like, it's got to get my hair powder. So I'm like, I'm just gonna wait by the front door. He's like, oh God. You do.
It was a good little exercise.
It was a great exercise. Well done. We're done. Lauren, your makeup looks successful.
What's the outro? Well, the outro is that was a different type episode, very business orientated, but it was questions were asked by Cody, so it made sense that they were in that sort of genre. But I really enjoyed it. I thought, yeah, this is really else.
Well done, Cody. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. And obviously, just so you know, I had my hair and makeup done by Savannah, Brevet Hair and Makeup Melbourne. So if anyone's interested, fantastic work. Please, you'll leave the business number in the link, and you can speak to Lauren, who's behind you. Come, Savannah, come.
Savannah also did Henry's touch up.
She also did Henry's touch up for the male that won the big glam. She's the one. And Cody, come here. Cody's got to get in on a sweaty messy. I'm also in that yellow corner like down here. Come on. Love him. Hey, the camera just saw you about. I see case. Let me ask Cody a session. Hey, you're free. Should we ask Cody about my guy? All right. Cody, what's the best thing about working in Trelay?
Is that there is an entire department where 50% of the decisions come back to me because no one else knows no different.
And you love that, actually. Also, what's the worst thing about working with Trelay? The bullshit, mate.
Dealing with external artists not responding to me, but that's not my problem. It's only my problem when they don't respond to someone else.
What has been the biggest learning curve since you've been working with us?
I think I don't have an emotional filter. You both know that. I either cry or I scream. There's no gray area. And I think, Henry, you taught me a lot about balancing my approach with our team because I lead with trust. And I think Henry taught me more so how to identify individual personalities and when I have to be a little bit more forthcoming with them as opposed to trusting that their best judgment will be what's delivered.
Fair. Who do you prefer, me or Henry?
Different reasons. Me, isn't it? What are you most excited about for the next 12 months with Prelay?
Becoming a millionaire.
Well, there's that, yeah. Like I'm very invested in this business, I think, across all departments.
He was here at 8:50.
I was here at but there was things that had to be done. I'm invested across the Privé brand as a whole, so I'm just excited to see it grow. When I started with you guys, I was essentially the first in-house team member that came on full time, and we've seen a massive growth period just in that 12 months. So I think the more people we add, the more artists we add, the more corporate connections that we make, we're really going to get bigger, and that's really exciting. Bigger and better. And then I think the biggest thing for me is we had this discussion the other day is when you are positioned and structured and ready for opportunity, that's when it comes different. And there's so many things that we've discussed, which realistically, had they happened when we discussed it, we would have never fight it a year. But now we wouldn't be fucked.
And also, I'm the visionary, and Henry's the organised one, but Cody's all system. Well, no, he's not organised, I'm like, he's system and procedures. So basically, I have this idea, and I'm like, oh my God, should we just do this? Henry's like, let's get a budget. Cody's like, let's get a system.
So how I see it as visionary. So visionary, strategy, realism, implementation. Well, the Jade's like, gonna open a multi-room studio, a content studio. It'll be on in the penthouse in the middle of the city. And Henry's like, okay, we're going to just have to pull this back a little bit. And then
And he's like, we're only going to spend $1,000 fit out. So I'm like, no, we are not. And I got all this stuff. And the AVO.
I do love the fit up. Right, we'll finish it.
Okay, hold on. On the count of 3, I want you to say group name. 1, 2, 3.
Privet.
No, the Holy Trinity.
I call this something different.
Oh, the shopping different. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We hope you loved it.
Thanks for listening.
And hopefully laughing. Be sure to leave us a review. And if you're into the madness,
Check out the links below to follow our day-to-day journey.
stay tuned for the next episode.